What's good, guys? Sales is a lot easier than you think. That's what we're going to talk about today on the YouTube channel. If you like the video, please share, please subscribe. Hope this helps you guys close a lot more deals. So, I coach so many people in sales, and the biggest problem that I see is, you know, they get so far from the idea, like their idea of what a sales call is, what a sales conversation should be is super different from how it actually should be. All it really is at the end of the day is having a conversation. I tell everybody, the moment you start having every conversation the same way you talk to your mom or your wife or your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friends, right? The same way that you talk to all of them, if you could start to talk like that on your sales calls, that's the moment when you're going to become an elite level closer, okay? I don't see any conversations differently. Right now, you're probably saying, okay, yes, Anthony, but there's flaws in that. I crack a lot of, bad, naughty jokes, things that I shouldn't be saying with my friends. How can I say that on a sales call? You tone it down a little bit, but you still talk the same way, right? You still need to talk the same way. So the way that you can get better at this isn't by trying to necessarily only talk how you talk to your friends on your sales calls. You also want to take the good practices and ideas that you learn from sales and start implementing that inside of your life, because you're going to have way more regular conversations day to day than you will with sales conversations, right? So let me give you an example. So when I'm working with somebody and I'm saying, hey, we want to really get your discovery process better for your sales calls, you're not asking good questions. You're not asking any clarifying questions. You're not getting the information that you actually need that would, in order for you to be able to get to a close. Because the main way that we are being judged by competency on sales calls is through the quality of the questions that we ask. And so what you're doing during the discovery portion of a sales call is you're trying to ask the prospect questions to get the answers that you need to overcome objections prior to the close and entangle them in their own words, in a sense, right? They're explaining to you why they need your help if you ask the right questions, okay? But a lot of times, a lot of closers or coaches, they don't know what questions to ask. Anthony, what do I ask here? I don't know. Okay. Well, or they just hear an answer and they're not sure what that means, and then they just jump to the next topic or the next conversation thread. They didn't get any clarification there. And the problem is we like to assume things as humans. We assume things. Assuming is the worst thing that you can do inside of a sales call, right? Because if you assume that you understood what that person meant and they meant something totally different from the way that you comprehended it, now there's a disconnect. Now that's adding a chink in your sales call. So we need to ask more clarifying questions, right? We need to ask better quality questions on the disco. So whenever I coach somebody, I say, hey, look, you need to just start asking better questions in all your conversations. And the first time you talk to, let's just say, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, right? The first time you ask them a clarifying question where they say something to you, and instead of just going along with it and ending that, you say, what do you mean by that specifically? And they tell you something, and what they tell you is totally different from what you thought they were going to tell you. That's when the light bulb goes off in your head, and you'll be like, shit, I assume so many things that I need to ask more clarifying questions. And then you start doing that regularly in your own life. It makes it way easier to know when to do that on a sales call, right? We're trying to bridge the gap here between the way that you communicate as a human being and how you communicate as a salesperson, right? We can't have, why are you nervous? Are you nervous when you talk to your friends? If you see somebody on Xbox Live or whatever they play now, right, and they have the headset on, and they're screaming, they're goofy, they're confident, right? They're not stifled. Well, then why does that happen to you on a sales call? It's because you're putting this pressure, your belief about the way that you need to communicate on a sales call is so unnatural from the way that you regularly would communicate. That's where those nerves and that's where that angst is coming from. And this is going to result in you closing less deals, because the reason you close on Zoom is because somebody's reading your energy, right? They're reading you. They want to be able to tell that they could trust the person across from them. The way that they could trust you is if they could tell that you're being authentic and genuine in the way that you communicate. If you're nervous, if you're second guessing, if you're thinking about everything you need to say, you're not being authentic. You're being a little bit more stifled. Somebody can sense that energetically, makes you seem like you don't know what you're doing, makes you seem like they can't trust you. Why would that person buy from you? I wouldn't, right? So The whole idea is sales is a lot easier than you think because we all already know how to communicate. It's just we have some limiting beliefs that aren't serving us, that are demonstrating that for whatever reason we picked up along the way a belief that the way we communicate in a sales process has to be different from the way that we communicate with everybody else. So take that tip, start there with the discovery questions, okay? Like I said, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like, please drop a subscribe. I hope this leads to you guys closing more sales. Peace.